into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Bye, Jersey chicks.
Season. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for the very last show that we're going to cover here at AfterBuzz for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. It is Season 6, Episode 18, Reunion Part 3. Bye seems appropriate to me. I'm your host, Megan Stecher. With me tonight,
Grant Rutter, hello. Let's wrap this out.
And Fern Ronay.
So before we get to everything we're going to talk about, Fern, what do we have here that you brought us tonight?
My latest alcohol purchase, Fabellini, by the one and only Teresa Giudice. I haven't even looked at the bottle. We haven't tasted it yet.
Okay, so it's the peach flavor. Why don't you let us know what this
I
says
dropped
here.
it on the ground coming in.
Oh, you did?
Anyone who knows me is not surprised by that, but it didn't break, so I'll give them that much.
Fabulous.
Should I pour a little?
Let's taste a little. See what
So
they've been talking about all season here.
The last show, so we'll have a little
We'll have a little
toast.
cheers.
A little bon voyage to Teresa Giudice.
So did you have this shipped from New Jersey?
Yeah, I ordered it online.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, no, I was going to have, because I thought we could only buy it on the East Coast. I was going
Right.
to have my mom ship it, but then I just bought it online.
Oh,
Well,
perfect.
Here's
There we
what
go.
it says. It says, the name Fabellini is Teresa Giudice's inspiration. The wine is an authentic Italian blend of fine sparkling wine and the flavor of fresh fruit nectar, product of Italy.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, they're making in Italy. Let's legit. Well, let's all have a cheers to the last show
Let's do it.
and give our thoughts on this flavor peach.
Salud.
Here we go. Cheers,
It's been
dolls.
great, ladies.
Oh, I like it. I'm
it's
down.
all
I
right.
like it.
I'm down with
I'm
it.
not mad. It's good.
It's good.
I didn't
You did
hate
good, Teresa.
All right, Teresa.
Okay, guys.
Something she made no money off of. We should point out.
Oh,
again.
yes. Everybody please support her while
A
she's in
business
jail.
with no profit, right here.
The Giudice Girls College Fund.
This is true. We shouldn't joke about that. All right. So we're going to start the show out. We've had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here with our AfterBuzz show in the past 24, 48 hours. So let's get to it. We're going to start with a little news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay. So the deal is I'm going to give all the information and then we'll let everyone else comment on it. And then I'll comment on it because I want to present this as like fair and balanced to everyone listening and watching.
Okay.
And
Just the facts. Just the
yeah, just the
facts.
facts. Okay. So Bobby wanted to be on the after show.
For a while.
He contacted me over Twitter shortly after we had that interview with Jim. And Jim kind of had a lot of claims about Bobby that weren't so flattering. So Bobby was like, I really want to be able to set the record straight, but I need to wait till the time is right. And he waited and he waited and he waited and he waited. And he was going to come out here for our last show this evening to be interviewed on camera about everything. And he said he had some exciting stuff he wanted to share. And I thought, that's great. If anybody was marginalized this entire season, I thought it was Bobby. And that he deserved to get to say something because he always seemed to be edited out of everything, even through the whole reunion. So we were talking back and forth a little bit on Twitter. And then we had a phone call and Bobby was going to come out. He was going to fly out here yesterday. So I wake up yesterday to a few messages saying, I can't believe this. I had to get off the plane and I'm not coming and I need to reschedule. And I said, I'm really sorry. I hope everything's okay, but there's no rescheduling. This is the last show that we're doing for the season. So he called, which I missed the call, and then he sent me a text that had showed his boarding pass. So he actually did go to the air. It was signed by TSA. So he actually was in the airport. He said to me that he was already on the plane. Bags went to LA, but he got off the plane for this important meeting. So I texted him back and said, well, we would love to have you call in anyway. You know,
Right.
no hard feelings. We'd love to still hear what you have to say, and have not heard from him at all today. But he did, here's the breaking news, start a new Twitter account that's going to be exposing the truth about Jim and Amber Marchese. I just want to get the name right on this. So it's called The Truth, RHONJ.
Is it using their pictures?
It is using a picture of Jim and Bobby together that looks a
Okay.
little dated.
Okay.
So that's all the facts. I would love to get both of your takes on what really happened here.
It's very curious, but you can.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's like a typical LA flake now. You know? No, I mean, this is something we've been pursuing for a while. Tim, I know you've mentioned it, that we were going to have an interview coming up a few weeks. And, you know, everything was aligned like as it should have been. I mean, this is someone who like really wanted to have a platform, much like we gave Jim. And, you know, a lot of people ragged on us for, you know, believing everything Jim said, and that just wasn't the case. That was part of kind of our plan, is to have a balanced panel here and get both sides. You know, I've also reached out to Jim other times recently to try to get some more final thoughts, and I haven't heard from him, or I tried to get Amber to come on, haven't heard from her, you know, so, you know, who knows really what's going on and what they're held to. But Bobby really wouldn't be held to anything, since he's not a house husband or a housewife. So, I mean, you know, it's unfortunate that he kind of strung us along, and, you know, he's about 5 minutes too late now to create that account. The season's over. He had an opportunity, a platform he could have even called in. No, it's just a shame that he missed out on the opportunity, because we definitely would have asked him some good questions and given him a fair interview.
Exactly. I totally agree. It's too late. The season is over, Bobby. And no, I don't think anybody cares at this point. Whatever you expose about the Marcheses at this point, who even cares? People are on to Atlanta and Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Jersey is over.
Not only that, it's a little, I don't want to say sick, but it's questionable that this is someone who has been in their home, friends with them, and now he's creating a Twitter account to expose his ex-friends. Like, I just wouldn't do that. Like, there are people in my life who I have cut out, or I don't have in my life anymore, but I'm not gonna, like, make a special account and, like, tell everyone there's a video coming soon. Like, it's almost like, it's just,
It's
like,
dirty.
weird. It's weird.
It's
It's just,
dirty
you
and
know, I don't even know if
creepy.
we want to even be a part of that.
Good
Yeah.
point. Good point.
Yeah.
Maybe we dodged a bullet there.
Maybe. But
don't
I
know.
just also think it's
Anyway.
weird that do you think he really got, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he got on the plane. I'm sure the TSA signatures are not fake. Unless he just went like, you know, they just go like this.
I
They
don't know.
look
I was so
legitimate to me.
confused. You sent me that picture late last night.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. So he's not in LA, but he has a signed TSA, but he's supposed to be coming, but he's still not here. I was like so confused. I was like, how do you
Right.
get something signed from the TSA
I mean,
pre-boarding with not being in the airport?
And then he said
don't
his
get it.
luggage got to LA, which the TSA has some explaining to do, because you can't have someone's luggage fly without them on the plane, because that's how people used to blow planes up in the 80s.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Because I'm
so-
assuming he got all the way up to the point of boarding and kind of left. Because here's the picture. I'm sorry I did not send it to our producer to put up for you guys. But that looks legitimate to
Yeah.
me, that he like really went through security.
Well,
I
you know,
don't know.
Megan,
Anybody could.
Why don't you tweet this out if you want, if you feel comfortable, and then our listeners can check it out.
There's no personal information. It's just his name.
Okay, true.
But
we'll do
It's
that.
up to you, perhaps.
But if
it's,
somebody gets off a plane, shouldn't you be like, what's your name? And let's get his luggage off the plane, so he didn't put a bomb on.
Well, sometimes it is late. Sometimes it is late. Like I had my flight canceled, and all my I was on the plane itself, and they were getting ready to take off, and they're like, "Okay, if you're flying to Providence, Rhode Island, your flights are canceled indefinitely." So I was like, "Oh, great!" And then I didn't have any of my bags. So and they still went somewhere.
Oh,
I
your
don't even know
flag-
where
yeah.
they went.
bags flew.
Yeah, so they flew. So I mean, who knows if it's a last minute thing? I mean, they can't force the guy to fly.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it was something legitimate. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
maybe
I'm not.
something came up. He said he had a meeting,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I'm just wondering what was so important, and then today nothing. When I said, "Oh, but at least call in," at least let's get your point out to the
Well,
people
that
and get your
happens.
side
I
of the
mean,
story
yeah.
because he said he felt so offended by everything that Jim had said to him.
Right.
So he was
Well,
like, let's
yeah.
get your story out to the people. You deserve that. You were very marginalized this season. You edited highly. We barely got to see or
Even
hear from
Andy
you.
cut him off in the reunion.
Right,
Yeah.
which I said. And he goes, oh, you have no idea. And I said, yeah, I know you guys are there for a 12-hour day, and we didn't get to hear from you at all at the reunion. So,
Well,
We're
that
disappointed,
happens.
Bobby. We wanted your story.
yeah. So, I don't know. It's kind of strange to me that he didn't get back to us about calling in, and now he's making up Twitter
Yeah.
accounts
You
to
could've called
smear the
in.
Marcheses.
Yeah. Maybe there was a car emergency.
What can you
or-
do? I mean, that
What can
happens
you
with
do?
interviews all the time, you know?
That's true. It happens with interviews all the time.
I mean,
But I
you
guess
know.
we'll never know what Bobby had to say unless it comes up on Twitter. Why don't we get to some more news and gossip?
Okay,
Who
so-
else has something?
So I have a few things I could talk about. There's no news on whether the show will be picked up or if it will continue on for another season. Andy Cohen says himself, we have not made any plans relating to the future of Jersey Housewives. He went on to say the final reunion is airing tonight, so obviously this was last week. He said, and we'll go back and meet and talk and reevaluate soon. So I don't know. I think this season was a little bit kind of a flat line in a slowly dying franchise, to be honest with you. And I just thought it was a chore to watch. And I really think that, you know, I don't want to see the show go, but I think we should put the Jersey Housewives to rest for a little bit. Like they did, they had a long sabbatical with New York, and, you know, it didn't come back in good shape, but I think it could use some time off.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What do
I
you
think
think,
so.
Fern?
I mean, I'm sad to see Jersey go, but I think everything you said is right. It's just it seems to be a dying franchise. It just doesn't have that same flavor, that same spark that it used to. And you can't say that about Beverly Hills or Atlanta. They're still going strong.
Woo,
So,
Atlanta. Poppin'.
Season 1, 2, and 3 were great.
Yeah.
The last two
Yeah.
seasons, it just got to be too, like, one little thing would happen and then we talk about it. And it's now, unfortunately, what's happening with the Housewives in general. And I've even noticed this with coming up with Beverly Hills, is that it seems a lot of these shows really are just having, like, the fight of the week. And it's like, we want to, like, where season 1, we get to know these women. We get to build a relationship with them and see kind of what makes them tick and what they buy and what they order at restaurants. And now it's just like someone makes a comment, everybody talks about it for the rest of that episode, and then they all get together to have like a peace dinner, and then something explodes. Then they talk about that, and it's more just like a fight carrying through. And I just think that is the quickest way to burn through a show.
Yeah, that seems to be the formula they're going for it. It's not, it's not good. And I mean, you know, this season, the way they edited it, we didn't really get to, it was not a good story arc for any story, real or not real, or, you know, they should have built it differently. And we saw with the Secrets Revealed episode that they cut out a lot of stuff that would have helped us grow to maybe like the twins and like Nicole and Bobby. And they cut it out. And
Your Atlantic City stuff.
yeah.
It's
love
so
that
upset
trip.
about
I
that.
was so upset that they didn't show the Atlantic City trip.
What the heck? All
yeah,
right.
so craziness.
Right.
Well, any other news and gossip from anyone?
Yeah, you know, Dina basically, like she said in this episode, she's not really gonna sign on anymore. She's pretty much judged. She says that her soul couldn't take the horrible people, and you know, I kind of like it though. And she claims she has no desire to return. Meanwhile, Jacqueline hopes that Dina will, so they can square off. That's just like, you know, who knows if that's true. The article that I read went on to say production has made it very clear they want Jacqueline back, and they don't want her back just for cameos either. Production is planning to offer Jacqueline as a contract for full-time housewife. I thought this was already determined earlier in the season. She supposedly is confirmed to be coming back. She went on to say that it was very clear with an examination of ratings that Jacqueline's appearance had a huge impact on the show, and Bravo is certain that with her back on the show, ratings will continue to be strong. The show's been on a downward trend, so I don't know if they're going to continue to be strong. Take that information with what you will.
And who is she going to fight with if Dina doesn't come back? I don't know.
She doesn't have Teresa to fight with either.
Yeah.
Get it. Wait, I'm sorry. Do you guys like Jacqueline? I'm so over her. I
No,
never
her
did.
and Kathy.
I mean, it was okay
No,
when she was
pass.
like involved in mixing up things, stirring up, but like she's not in it.
She just comes back and cries about.
Well,
I know. It's
I
all
have-
about the son, which is like not something you should be bringing on a reality show to like make
Right.
people feel bad for you and be your
Right.
storyline.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just feel like it was too personal to have that, to
Yeah.
keep showing this kid struggling. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, it's just too much. I'd rather have Jacqueline on than have Kathy in her house. Come on.
Yeah. She really has nothing to add
At all.
at all.
So little that they kept forcing her down our throats, and there was no reference to Kathy at this reunion at all.
Well,
In-
she was
in-
in the, what was it,
Really?
first episode?
Yeah, I guess.
See,
I don't
Grant
know.
doesn't even
I don't
remember.
even
They're all
remember.
because they didn't need to have
Kathy
three.
and
They're all
Rosie,
melding together.
Kathy and Rosie were
they
on.
were there. Yeah.
And
they
Rosie
were.
said the best thing to Dina. She said, maybe you're on the wrong show if you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
personal
Okay, they
thing.
were there, folks, but yeah.
That was
That's how
read.
forgettable they. That's
Fern,
how,
that was a read.
take that.
I'm
Yeah,
learning.
sure.
Wait,
No,
Grant
really.
and I love teaching Fern a little slang every week, a little housewife slang
Well,
every
yeah,
week.
yeah. Information. The more you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
the more you
The more
know.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, Rosie was, but that's how. I mean, I love Rosie, but
Right.
that's how memorable they are that we don't even remember.
Right.
Kathy
I
being
just
on-
feel like this reunion
No.
has been strung out
strung
so
out. They
much.
did not need to make it 3
Right.
No.
No, it does
And
not.
we
need to
covered the
be.
same crap
over
every
and
episode.
over again.
Right.
Every episode.
Well,
Nothing got solved.
Nothing got solved.
This episode
Should we
was
talk
like
about-
the Jim and Bobby hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to transition from that if you like.
Here's my thing. Here I'm gonna put this out there. Are Jim and Bobby in this together for the fame? I mean, they're accusing each other of being fame whores. And I mean, it kind of dawned on me today. I was like, do they have some kind of, are they in this together and we don't know about it?
Conspiring, maybe.
Yeah.
And we've seen in all of the Housewives shows, people go at it one season and then the next season it's resolved and they're best friends and they're fighting with
Yeah.
someone else. So probably next season, if they're both back, they'll be the best of friends again.
I don't know.
I don't know.
think-
Maybe they're conspiring.
I think that feud equals airtime. It equals, more being front and center. I think this whole season was revolved around the men, to be honest. From Reno to Jim, even to Joe, Giudice. I think that it was the men were the stars this season.
Yeah.
They kind of were. I don't know. They got, I think, maybe like 30% to 70% of the women's drama. 30% was the men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for what is memorable to me, there's very little with the women, especially with the twins, and even less with
true.
Dina.
Yeah.
Jim was always stirring up trouble.
Yes,
As
he
far as what we
was.
got to see.
He was.
So,
Yeah. And when you think back of other seasons when the men were kind of highlighted, it was family issues like Joe and Joe. This time it's the house husbands just being naughty.
well, what do you think of Bobby when he was accusing Jim? There was a lot of back and forth with them this episode. Bobby said, you saw 80% of it about filming, about talking about, oh, I can't go out to the bowling night.
Yeah.
And then Bobby claims Jim said, oh, we buried them, that Jim and Amber were high-fiving, that
Yes.
Jim thought he was going to be a star on the show for trash-talking Joe and Teresa.
right.
That was going to get them all up in the mix.
And then Bobby
on
was
the
trying to
canvas, as Grant
explain.
says. Yeah. So what do you guys make of that?
Well, Bobby was trying to explain, and Andy cut him off. So if Bobby had only called in, we could have gotten
Exactly.
a full story. But I
Bobby.
think what happened, what Bobby was saying was, Jim said on camera, Joe and Joe are always fighting with each other, and I can't be in the same room as them. They're animals or whatever. And then the cameras left, and Jim and Amber high-fived each other, like, we got them on camera. This is going to be great. And Bobby is saying that he thought that was disgusting. So I want to know what the other 20% of the story is.
Well, I mean, is that it? Well, here's the thing. They got what they wanted, and it ended very badly because now that whole ordeal post the twins ripping out Amber's hair at the party, at the first responders party, all the fighting that happened after that had to do with Jim not going to the bowling night and saying he couldn't be a part of hanging out with Joe and Teresa.
Yeah, so they did
So
make it a huge storyline.
it did,
So
yeah.
they should have high-fived each other. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, I still think he was okay to not go to that bowling night. I
Yeah.
still
Right.
think he was justified in that. So I don't know why that blew up and why people were so offended by it. And then they pretended that they weren't. Like Joe was like, to pull a number to hang out with us. And it's like, oh, please.
That was corny.
Yeah.
That was corny. Well, okay. So Amber and Jim, I thought this was funny, that Amber and Jim said they denied during the reunion. They're like, oh, Victoria's Secret rumor, blah, blah, blah. We never believed it. And I said it as a joke because I was so drunk. Now, when Jim called into this show, Jim said, it really does look like it's true. So what do we make of that? I think Jim seemed like he's flip-flopping a lot.
He's a flip-flopper for sure. And so is Amber because she... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because they
please.
don't answer questions. Like Angie said, you, Jim and Amber, you two agreed as a couple not to bring it up. And then he brings it up. So what do you have to say? You know, like, what happened there? Do you think he was wrong? And she didn't answer the question. She said something else, like we thought it was a joke. That doesn't answer the question. Why did he say it when you agreed not to, whether it was a joke or not? It's still spreading a rumor. Right. So... I don't know. They just flip-flop and they don't answer questions. And
yeah, I mean, I think at this point in the season, none of us believe that rumor is true. I mean, do any of us believe this truth behind that rumor?
Not at all.
Maybe Jim, Jim mean
it's
that
so dead.
It's true that Reno said it? So he said it. It was a joke.
That's like a technicality.
Well, Reno fiercely denies it, but I mean, would Victoria's Gotti just like make this up out of nowhere? I feel like it could very possibly be that he said it as a joke.
Exactly.
It could be. I mean, he could have said it when he was, like you said, 2 sheets to the wind and has no idea what he was talking about. So, of course, he's going to deny saying it because he doesn't remember saying it.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous at this point. Oh, I don't know.
Keep talking about it.
Well, I mean, Teresa was really giving it to Teresa again in this episode. God knows how they edited this whole thing because I don't know if this was revisited 3 times or if it was just edited that way. So it was getting toward the end of this episode where Teresa was really giving Teresa the business. Gosh, I feel like I wrote down a quote. Okay, so Teresa was saying that Teresa orchestrated this whole thing because they were getting more attention. She said, you want to be the queen of your castle. And our family was getting more, meaning her and Nicole and Reno and whoever else, Santa, all the deal. They were getting more attention than Teresa was, and Teresa wanted to be the queen of her castle. So she orchestrated this whole thing with the cameras and Victoria to get the attention back on her. Do we think Teresa could be right? I don't know.
It's Teresa's show pretty much.
I mean, obviously.
So for some new chick to walk in and have nothing going on and suddenly we're supposed to believe that and it's all about her. I mean, are we watching the same show?
Right, honestly.
That made me laugh too.
I'm dumbfounded. I really am. I need to know.
Teresa, pour me a little more too. I can't even deal with these girls.
Didn't Teresa say that there was so much negativity going on with your family that you wanted to give some negativity to my family? Maybe. I mean, she made a couple.
She did. Another thing she said was that you were not bringing anything to the table for production.
Yes.
I won't mention that, but you weren't bringing anything to the table.
Obvious.
You can feel Andy cringe whenever they bring up production.
They all did. And Teresa popped in tonight with, well, you can't tell her off camera because we're doing a TV show. And I mean, those girls sold him up the river this year toward the end of the season with just the whole.
You can just feel him dying.
I know, like. Don't give away my secrets.
Andy looked like he was ready to bolt off that set. I mean, one of the last shots, his shirt was kind of untucked and he was kind of slouched from the chair. He had like 1 foot behind him to get off that chair and bolt out of that.
He just looked so exhausted by this.
He's so over it.
Yeah, I mean, those are like 12-hour days. I mean, we're only looking at a 3-part reunion. I mean, he's asking the nitty-gritty of everything. I mean, actually, I can't say I wouldn't want to be on that set. I would love to be on that set. But I mean, like, I just think that's crazy. And don't forget, they have to ask questions that they're going to use for the unseen footage episodes, too. Because they kind of, like, build around those moments where he asks them more questions. So they got to get 4 hours worth of stuff out of that. I mean, I would want to be out of there, too.
Painful.
I agree. Hey, this is how I feel about this season right now. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say that in a way because we're supposed to be such super fans, and I do love New Jersey, but I think that it's been better and it can be better.
Yes.
I agree.
I agree totally.
I don't know if the casting was what let us down this season or the editing.
I think all of both.
Yeah.
For me, it was the editing. It really was.
I think we could have seen a lot of fireworks with people that were good, and I think we could have liked them a lot more had it not all been edited out. Or edited poorly. And, like, who cares about focusing on Teresa? Just like Teresa said, she didn't bring anything to the table. So, I mean, why did we have to keep focusing on her? Because it was nothing about nothing.
Nothing about nothing.
Awful. All right.
Awful.
What did you guys?
That was a good Jersey accent. I approve.
I have some really good friends from New Jersey, you guys. What did you guys think? Were Amber's tears real when she was towards the end saying, you know what, this was really hard with Bobby and Jim and their whole breakup and 10 years of us all being friends, and we never came on the show expecting this to happen. Did you think those were real tears, or like her like tears that she was always able to pull up all season long, like hysterical crying out of nowhere?
Do you want to take this?
No, go ahead. I have an opinion too, but I'll let you go first.
I think, I don't know if they were real, but her point, and I'm not a fan of the Marcheses, but her point was valid in that she wished that Nicole and Bobby had said to her privately, explain to us what the rumor was that you heard, and like, let's squash it right here, instead of come over to Bobby's house and let's approach you in front of all of these people and cause a big scene. So I kind of got that point, and that she felt betrayed by Bobby because they didn't do it privately. Even if they did it on camera, they could have done it privately instead of at a party. So I got that point, and I you know, whether the tears were real, I don't know. She cries. She's like Jacqueline. She cries at everything.
I think she was genuine. When the season started, they were on Kathy Lee and Hoda on the Today Show, the 4th hour, and they said, you know, as new ladies,
The 4th hour.
they're like as new ladies to the show, like, what do you make of like being on here? Like, how does it change your life? And she's like, honestly, she's like, and Amber was like, she wasn't emotional, but she was like, yeah, no, it's just really shocking that we, you know, kind of lost friendships that we came in with. And she looked over at the twins, and Nicole was like shaking her head. So she was like really kind of bothered by it. So I'm like, and I remember like being like, let's see where this goes.
Right.
And so, yeah, I do believe that like it really was. I mean, we have to remember these are regular people from New Jersey, you know, who do have friendships for 10 years, and they're over.
You made a really good point about that last week about Sal and Santa being talked about on Twitter, on national television, you know, because that rumor's been beat to death, and we don't believe Rena really slept with the mom. Enough already, but why is it upsetting them so much? We think Teresa just wants camera time, but also that, you know, when you're real people and you get talked about on Twitter in a disgusting way, it's upsetting.
I mean, when you have a room or a national display and you're
Yeah.
not used to, you know, I doubt Santa's even on Twitter. I mean, like, it's probably like, whoa, like all of a sudden, why am I being talked about it in Touch magazine?
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Well, speaking of Twitter, everyone was really giving it to Jim about his Twitter obsession and how nasty he is on Twitter. Melissa even took over being host from Andy and turned around and said, Jim, you tell me why you act like that on Twitter. I mean, she was pointing at him, the whole deal. She had a big smile on her face, but she took the reins from Andy and
She
was like,
sure
you're
did.
going to tell us why you're so evil. She said, look, the show wrapped. We all go back to our lives. You have been on Twitter 24/7. What do you guys, okay, I wrote down a little sign, let's see. He said, here's his ridiculous excuse. He said he got a fax at work saying that he should die of cancer. His wife should die of cancer. All these horrible things. He was called this and that and the other. And he thought he should be a lightning rod because he would be deflecting all of the hate that Amber was getting on Twitter. If he would come on Twitter and be a lightning rod, it would deflect all of that hate to him. What do we make of this? I can't.
Well, you just don't give things like that power. I mean, you know,
Exactly.
people can come after us for, you know, for an AFTERBUZZ, and like you just don't do it. You just don't buy it.
Right.
Why? What's the benefit? I mean, like, you know, now you're giving somebody, I mean, if Jim, and it's not like Jim is just defending his wife. I mean, he's retweeting, and like, it's over. I mean, he's, you know, we've been grateful he's retweeted, and Amber has retweeted our show in the past, even last week, I believe. But I mean, you know, to have such a level of engagement, and you're, you know, if you're someone sitting at home and someone, you know, a reality star, we'll say in this case, I have my own opinions on this, I'll get into later. But if somebody is like, you know, from the TV is, you know, recognizing you, then it's going to keep it going. I'm sure he gets the same people writing to him constantly, and it just looks like he's got this huge band of people behind him.
Exactly. I think it's so immature. Like, the approach is just not how to handle it. Not to sound like Dina, but I do believe in, you know, energy. And when you engage with these people who did write, I mean, I believe him that those tweets and faxes were true and they were disgusting. But when somebody writes something negative like that, or hurtful or mean, it says more about that person and really nothing about Jim and Amber. It's all about that person who's for whatever reason, has issues and is writing stuff like that. So if you engage with someone who has issues like that, you're inviting that negative energy into your orbit, and it is not healthy, and it's immature to respond as a lightning rod and fight back. It's just not the way to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, it's new. You have to remember, though, it's like newfound fame for this guy, too. Right. So it's like, what do you do with this power when you have people coming after you, and you have a platform, and it's as easy as social media? I don't know. To me, it's just like, go find something else to do. You know, use it, like, or give a good interview. You know, like, give one solid good interview. Don't give an interview where you are going to be a lightning rod that's just going to attract more attention. If you want to, like, downplay rumors and protect your family, like, you know, reach out to a good source and give a good interview, and then have that be it. You know, give your perspective, your thoughts, and then cap it.
I love that. You can tell Grant's been doing this for years, people.
He knows what he's talking about.
When are you people going to hire him to be your PR? That was my whole thing, is I kept thinking, if I were on one of these shows, which I could never handle. I could never handle the emotional stress.
I would do it in a minute. I would do it in a minute.
You would?
Yeah,
Bravo.
I would.
You heard it here first.
Never.
I would.
I could never handle the scrutiny.
I think I would know how to handle it, honestly. Not to be like, oh, I know, because I really haven't been on a real show, but I think I would get, like, I think I'd be pretty good on it. I think I would know publicly and how to handle things on camera and things like that. But they also brought up a good point. If you bring alcohol involved, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That
I don't know. I mean, I don't get
too.
rowdy, but I mean, you know, come on. It's like alcohol. I mean, we're drinking it now, but we're not really taking shots. But
I don't think this is very strong, though.
no.
Yeah, alcohol and cameras do not mix.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I would definitely do it. I would like to be a friend of the Housewives. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just
strap in as the buddy.
Just get dressed up, go to a fancy party, react, get a few shots, and then you get to go to coffee the next day with one of the housewives to discuss all the crap that happened. There you go. Done.
Andy.
I don't even need to be paid for it.
There you go. Just like Victoria Gotti. You don't need to be paid. You're happy to show up.
Yeah. No, but I would never go on TV. Like, I'm not saying Victoria did this, but why not? I would never go on TV and make a vicious rumor about somebody just to get on TV either. I mean, it's just not my character.
That's awful too, yeah.
Well, to wrap this whole thing up, we did a lot of saying goodbye to Teresa, and we slowly wound down to a very sad Andy. He said, I'm looking at you, I'm getting emotional that we have to say goodbye. He knows this has been the star of his franchise for the past 6 seasons. And God, unfortunately, she is going to prison. So I think he felt very, very sad.
Yeah, he did.
And Teresa actually apologized to the fans. What do we make of that? Because it was the first genuine moment that I have seen from her this entire season.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Good for her. I mean, at this point, does it make a difference?
I think she should be apologizing to the people they defrauded. She should be apologizing to people they owe money to. And not her fans. Her fans weren't looking.
Gonna do that.
Her fans weren't looking to her like she's like a role model or Mother Teresa. They think she's funny, and she is funny on TV. So she didn't disappoint them. She disappointed people she lied to, took money from, acted like she had a rich life and didn't. And that's who she should be apologizing to. But you're exactly right. She will never.
No. Andy said that he was choking back tears finishing the reunion because he really feels a strong connection to Teresa. He also said that she was one of the easiest housewives to work with.
Which is a shocker to me, I must say.
He said that she was always professional and game, you know. Which is a good thing.
I have a couple of friends who work in reality television and did the Celebrity Apprentice.
Yes.
They are behind the scenes folks.
My favorite
they said
show.
That both Teresa and Nene were just the sweetest. Like, so respectful and on time and did a great job and couldn't be nicer.
I heard she really is a hard worker. Like on Celebrity Apprentice, didn't she? She was there on time every day, despite going home to New Jersey every night and getting her 4 daughters ready for school.
Yeah.
Like she's a lot of things, but she's not lazy.
She lasted till the very end on that show too.
Yeah.
She was like the last to get bumped before it got to the final 4. Yeah.
So what do we make of her saying she regrets 80% coming on the show? Is she just saying that because of she's going to jail? I mean, I think she has had an amazing life from this show.
Yeah.
All that money, the book deals, every appearance she ever made, that is nothing but money in the bank. So
So when it's all over, people are still going to be interested in her, as opposed
Right.
to someone
Right.
who nobody knows who's going to jail for the same thing, who isn't going to be able to get any attention.
Exactly.
Right, but the difference is someone who nobody knew would probably not get such a harsh sentence. They probably just get home confinement or something like that. I don't know. I really don't think she's in the position to really regret it. I mean, she's so far deep. It's 6 seasons. I mean, she's made money off this, whether we believe it or not. People, So I don't know. I don't know how she can regret 80% of it.
that's true. Maybe 50%.
Yeah, just say that.
Well, so Teresa leaves it as saying, maybe you'll see me on a cooking show someday. So this seems like her avenue. She also mentioned, I'm a New York Times best-selling cookbook author. The fact that she can't speak English, be damned. The girl is a best-selling author. So do we think this is her play to the public? I felt like that's what she was doing, was like, oh, by the way, don't forget, after all of this criminal activity, that I'm a really great cookbook author. I should have a cooking show when I get out of jail. That's what I was taking it as. Do you guys
She
feel
was
that
setting
way?
herself up. Yeah.
Honestly, I just don't think Teresa has the charisma to support a show like that.
I don't either.
I think when she's in prison, she should work on some writing. Like, she should do some writing, and not like creative writing. Like, she should write about like her experience. Like, use that time wisely, because as soon as she's out, she has like a 5-minute window to
Yeah.
maintain her relevancy and to get on every show she can, talk about her horrific experience, even if it wasn't that bad. And I mean, she has like such a small window to remain relevant. Do I think she's done with the Housewives? I do not. I think she'll be back. I think that she needs the money. They're going to ask her, and really, I mean, unless if like some big company comes here with a cooking show, which I don't see happening, I just don't know.
Well, and there you have it.
Yeah.
Let's move into, we're going to do something different this week. And we're not going to do predictions, because who knows what the future holds and when this show, or if it's coming back. We're going to do kind of a report card for this season.
In case if we haven't been harsh enough.
I'm going to present
Now we're going to give actual grades.
some names, and we'll see what everyone has to say. All right, let's start with our newcomers, the twins, and let's loop in Bobby with Nicole.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't need to see them. I think we're good.
S minus.
I think no, really. I mean, they brought very little to the show. I just they didn't pop for me. I really couldn't really tell one between the other for half the season. I mean, they're fun. I don't know if they're great for the show, but who knows? Next.
I actually give them a B minus.
You said F minus, and now you're. I look like the biggest idiot.
No, okay, I'll give them a C, a C plus.
Well, we don't have to agree,
In
remember.
in the beginning, I was like, I really like them. They're so cheesy, but they seem so sweet. And then they got, more interesting. And I think they give a little pizzazz to the show.
I guess. I mean, I would go to lunch with Nicole. I would. I think she's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Teresa's dying for sound bites.
She is
Dying.
You are so right about that.
She's
She
loving every little moment she can get
Wants
in.
to be the new Teresa
She really
so bad.
does.
She's online looking for that gif of her doing the clink clink.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
looking for that, like that repeat gif.
Boy.
I wouldn't mind seeing them again. I give them a C plus.
Okay.
They just have to be a little bit more, I don't know, interesting.
All right, let's move on to my personal season favorite, Amber and Jim. Fern.
A plus. I do not like them, but like we were talking about this last week, I don't hate them. I don't know them. I
Yeah,
TV hate them.
right.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
hating them on TV. I think they're a bunch of things, and I would like to see them back, annoying me once again.
Yeah, I'd like to see them back as well. I give them a pass. The other, they got the fail. They get the pass. Yeah,
Now a pass-fail course.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, though, I just want to say, like, I feel like excluding Teresa, no one on the show, this is just my opinion, but no one on the show except for Teresa is a reality star. And I think they all are trying so hard, and they think they are stars, and it gets to be annoying in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like, in a way, they're kind of like an example, and especially Bobby. I just kind of like, I don't know. They're not in that level yet, and the way they act and they talk to other people, they just think that they're like reality stars, and it's not. It's just I don't know. It's not right to me. It doesn't fit.
Thirsty. I think Grant's trying to say we'd have left thirsty first timers this year. Thirsty.
Yes.
Fern. That means they're like attention seeking.
Oh, okay.
Word of the week for
They
Fern.
want it. Yeah, no, and they all do though. I mean,
I
they
have
all
to keep a
Yes.
dictionary.
they all do except Teresa. She doesn't want anything, and Dina, she couldn't kill us.
Well, let's move on to an alum, Melissa, and let's add in her husband, Joe. What do we think about them this season?
They did nothing.
B.
B.
You know, they showed up. They
B
did their
minus,
job.
yeah.
You know, I mean, they were there. They looked good. They're still the hottest couple on the show. They're building a nice house. You know, all right, B.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in here and say a D. I give them a D. Because on purpose, Melissa did not let them do her singing career and music as part of her storyline this year. And girl brought nothing to the table. I realize her old storyline of fighting with Teresa was kind of taken away this year, but
Right.
like find something to do, honey.
Yeah, what was her storyline? Just
Nothing. Oh, we're
Repeating
building a
the-
new house and we
building a
live
new
in a
house.
crappy small house.
And repeating the rumor that Amber told her.
Hey, that girl
Oh,
collected
that
a
was-
paycheck. She looked good.
I mean,
I'm okay
good
with
for
Melissa.
her. Good for her, and I want her back. But like, girl, bring something to the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, Teresa and Joe.
Did we do Dina?
Oh, Dina. Oh my God, my girl. Oh my God, Dina. I'm so sorry. I
I'm like
forgot
rolling
about
my
you.
eyes. Sorry. I'm like, okay, Gina. Yep.
Grant can't stand her. Moving on, Fern.
She's so forgettable this season that we forgot
know.
to give her a grade. She's a lovely person, but she gets a C or a D. She gets a D because D for Dina. She did nothing.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was a much to do about nothing.
Her
The promotion of
and
her
Melissa.
coming back was just like, it was like a lead balloon.
Well, I'm gonna give her a B minus because I love her, and I was obsessed with her Monday morning quarterback Snipes. She would never really participate in anything, but her little comebacks and her one-on-ones were amazing. So love you, Dina. All right, finally, last and least, Teresa and Joe. Grant, give it to me.
Oh, Lord, it was a sympathy card to the judge all season. I mean, to be real, I mean, they literally did the whole season like, Judge, please watch this so you can see that we love our family and we couldn't do another Christmas without Joe and we're just such a loving family and we're perfect. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm at the end of the day, I am a Teresa fan, so I will give her an A.
Okay, wow.
I'm going to give her an
boom.
F because, yes, it was total sympathy card to the judge, and the judge said, I'm buying it.
So they failed at it, I guess.
They
yeah.
failed.
I agree with Fern. This was a ridiculous, awful season for her. She did nothing, said nothing, and it didn't even work. So.
But the reason why I'm going to maintain giving her an A is because even though she did absolutely nothing, it was a terrible season for her, I still really only cared about her.
Okay.
There were still very few people I cared about. And even though she had nothing going on, I was still interested in her petting Melania's hair.
All right.
That says something. She's an engaging character.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so the season as a whole, this long road, we've come to the very end here, you guys. What do we think the season as a whole? What grade would you give it?
I'm going to do the pass-fail, and they failed.
No, I'm going to give it a D.
I agree. It's a D for me. Wah.
But if they come back, I hope it's Teresa before she goes to jail. I want to see her, like, getting ready. And then Melissa, I could, again, but if she gives us something.
they'll
And then
keep her.
Amber and Jim, even, because they make good TV. They're so hateable. And maybe the twins. But I would like to see Danielle come back.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
They need to write her a check. They
do.
really
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Bring
It
it.
would really come full circle.
You know, the thing about Real Housewives of New Jersey is we never really see people disappear. Even Kim G hung on for a while.
For dear life.
You know, I mean, like, look at Kathy. I mean, she just keeps popping up. So I can't believe I forgot her at the reunion. But I mean, like, so I mean, I think we'll definitely see them all again. I do.
That's
I really
true.
do. I don't think anyone's going to be off for good. But I do agree with you that I think that Amber and Jim will probably, come back and maybe we'll get, we'll see maybe Nicole. Can we leave Teresa at home?
Teresa would
boom.
never.
Well, any final thoughts before we sign off, you guys?
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. And commenting
listening.
listening.
Grant, I see a philosophical look on your face. Lay it on us.
Oh, there really isn't anything. I just think it's great that we have such a good interaction week after week with people who are watching. And we have some great commenters who are there every single week writing to
And
us
know
their
their
thoughts.
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you're even schooling us. So we appreciate all the good thumbs up and the comments and the tweets. And, to find out more about what we're doing at AfterBuzz, if you like our personalities, you can follow us and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, Fern and I will be doing Real Housewives of Beverly Hills starting tomorrow. So if you guys are Real Housewives junkies, please join us for that show.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say to everyone listening and watching, it's been our pleasure to do this. We love, 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 love this. We love the show. We love the characters. It's our job to pick apart all the nitty gritty. But I know that's what you guys do at home too. And thank you so much for giving us a platform to do that. And we've loved this season. I've loved meeting Fern and Grant, and we've had such a fun time.
Your first shows,
I
ladies.
So we're so happy to be a part of AfterBuzz. We want to say thank you to Josh Richmond, who's been here with us every week.
Oh, thank you guys.
He's our awesome engineer. And
Yeah, producing our show flawlessly for you.
You guys taught me that there's a show that has both a Teresa and a Teresa on. I never knew that.
I know, and the things you learned. So if you guys want to follow us, Fern, where can we find you?
On Twitter and Facebook at Fern Ronay.
You can find me on Twitter at grants__rants. I also plan to do the Celebrity Apprentice coming up in the new year, and I might pop into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
We hope so.
We hope. Keep the gang together. I'm Megan Stecher. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Megan Stecher, MEGANSTECHER. Thank you all so much. Hopefully we'll see you next season.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.